Hey guys! I had a bunch of people ask for me to do a follow-up from my previous videos. First, I'll apologize, lighting is not good. I am not a professional YouTuber, so you're gonna have to bear with me if the camera is shaky. I had a few people ask about the extremes. That's what people have said, like the surgery was extreme to remove my breast implants. And I agree. This surgery was extreme. The difference is we felt like we had exhausted all of the options with my doctors and my rheumatologists, and they had provided me so many treatment plans per se, and nothing really worked. So when I chose to do this, I was sitting at a point that I was ready to do anything, and even if there was a small chance that this would work, to me it was worth it. Recovery, my last video was at 4.5 weeks post-op, and I know I was feeling great, and I told everybody I was feeling great. That's continued. I've felt better than I felt in 2 years. So that just proves to me that obviously all the things that I was concerned about was true. I mean, my system was exasperated from the implants. My inflammation was off the charts. I mean, it's crazy. It's night and day. I feel like the person I was 2 years ago. And like I wouldn't trade it for anything. There's not a way to explain on how good you feel if nobody understands what it's like to feel like you're dying. And that's kind of the best explanation. When you feel like you're dying and you go back to feeling like you're living, it is probably the most incredible gift out there. And you can't really put it into words, but that's really how I feel. I feel like I spent 2 years dying, and now I get to go back to living, and it's been tremendous. My inflammation has been down. I still don't have food intolerances to anything, except a little bit of gluten. I haven't had crazy migraines. It's just, it's night and day. Somebody asked, had I had any setbacks? I had one small setback, and it was actually kind of my fault. I kept myself taped because I thought that it just makes you feel a little bit more secure. But around week 7, I started working out again, and nothing extreme, like just walking on the treadmill. And I had forgotten to switch out my tape, and sweat had got under that tape, and it really irritated one of my scars. And so I ended up with kind of a yucky infection. It lasted like 3 days. My surgeon was incredible. I sent pictures back and forth, and he helped me out a lot. So that was the smallest setback. Recovery-wise, 4.5 weeks post-op, I was still in the stage of not being able to vacuum or do house chores or lift anything. I stayed like that till about 6-7 weeks. So my family had to do a lot of the chores for me and really pick up the slack, but I have an 8 and 10-year-old, so it wasn't, I didn't have babies. This would definitely be harder if I had small babies. Energy-wise, it's crazy. Like I said, you go from dying to living. I feel like I almost have FOMO, if nobody knows what that stands for. It's like called fear of missing out. And that's really where I stand. I'm able to do so much that I'm surprised by the amount of energy that I have. I've had to change up a few things. When you spend so long being chronically ill, it's almost like your brain has been trained to be sick. And I had to relearn a bunch of things, like in the morning, instead of dropping my kids off and coming home, I had said that like I went right to sleep or crawled back into bed because I was in so much pain, and I was just like, the chronic fatigue was awful, and I just had to go back to bed. I don't go back to bed anymore. I get up, I make the bed, and I stay busy throughout the entire day. But I'm able to do all of my chores, get to the gym, pick my kids up, do all the grocery shopping. Like, I'm able to do everything that I was able to do 2 years ago. And I'm not on any meds, so there is no weird supplement that I'm taking. That being said, I know that like there's so many things that you can be taking to feel better, and everybody recommends something different that helps. All I have been doing is I've been juicing every single day. I do take a supplement actually for adrenal fatigue because my adrenal glands are shot at this point. So those are still recovering, and I take vitamin C. Like I take natural vitamins, but I'm also really careful again about what I eat. I wasn't for the first 2 months after surgery because I was so excited to be eating again that now I'm back to eating really, really clean just because, I mean, your body's your typical, if you're feeding it junk, you're going to feel like crap. And I felt like crap long enough. I don't want to feel like crap anymore. So all in all, I'm feeling fantastic. So I'm, like I said, 4 months out, I feel like I've gone back to the person I was 2 years ago, almost 2.5 years when this all really started. And it's a really, really great feeling. So to those people that are on the fence about doing this and they followed my journey, I know that this decision is really difficult to make, and I can't say like, oh, go get them out. But what have I learned? I learned that like I'm kind of pissed. I'm kind of pissed that the plastic surgery industry is not talking about this. Like this is so taboo. I'm a little pissed that other women think that it's crazy. I mean, I know there's tons of women out there with implants and they feel great, and I'm so glad for that. I don't think that just because you have implants, you're gonna just drop and be sick. I think a lot of women, it happened exactly like mine did. They were masked. Each symptom was masked, and each doctor said, you know, it's age, it's menopause, it's a rheumatology issue, it's an intolerance issue, and eventually that's exactly how mine started. Mine started with very small food intolerances, like out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden I couldn't have dairy. I look back and I'm like, that's strange. So these little things eventually, you know, built up and became, you know, medium things. And then they became big things, and then shit hit the fan, and it was, you know, it was all downhill from there. So that being said, like if you do have implants, you know, and you're doing your research, you know, or it's time to switch out your implants or whatever, I mean, do your research, do your due diligence. I mean, because I look at it, you know, the one thing that sticks out to me the most is I think back to, I'm Canadian, so I think back to King George, how he stammered, and his treatment, like his therapy, was they suggested smoking. And what happened? He died of lung cancer. So I think of things like that, I mean, so I feel like the same way about breast implants. You know, we don't feel good about ourselves, so these doctors suggest implants, or we have it in our head that we want implants. And now women are coming out of the woodwork. Now we're all, you know, they came out back in the early 90s for the Dow Corning implants. And now here we are 20 years later, and we're not going to be silenced anymore. I love all these women standing up for this. I love everybody coming out and saying, like, I'm sick too. And you know what? Freaking right on. That we shouldn't be silent about this. Don't let your surgeon talk you into being silent. Or, I mean, even, I know there's a lot of women that I've been reading on the group that I'm in that their husbands aren't supportive of this. Dang, you know what, ladies? Now is the freaking time that we're in charge of our bodies. And if you are sick and you think this is the reason why you are sick, and your husband says, like, I don't believe you, I think you're crazy, it's not your implants, or I'm not going to love you because I love your implants, well, tough shit. Sorry. But if your husband is saying things like that, that's abuse. And don't listen. If you know that this surgery is going to heal you or help you in any way, even if it's a small way, why would you not want 20% of your life back? 10% of your life back? Why would your spouse not want to see you get 10% better or 20% better? Nothing is guaranteed, and it is a struggle. A friend of mine who had hers done at the same time I had mine out, she's still struggling. And so that is very real. And I know that there's lots of videos out there. I mean, my 4.5 week post-op was one of them, where we get out and we're excited, because you're excited, and you're saying, like, this is the best thing that's ever happened, and we feel fantastic. There is a flip side to that coin. You may not be well right away. And then you have to go into surgery understanding that, knowing that this is not a magic fix. There is no magic button that is going to cure you. You have to do the work after in order to get better, and there is no guarantee that you will get better. But what will you know? You know that you have taken out over 40 poisonous chemicals out of your body. We all know smoking is bad for us. I mean, there's warning on all the cigarette packages. I mean, the American Lung Association, everybody knows smoking causes cancer. It's everywhere. Implants have 40 different chemicals in them. Cigarettes have about the same amount. So why is it that we're not waking up and realizing that these are bad for us? So, I mean, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to be too preachy, but I'm trying to finish it up. That I feel like finally after 2 years, I have a voice again. And for those who have been sick and who are watching this, you're going to know what that's like. To feel like you didn't have a voice for so long. You spent all this time apologizing. I spent 2 years apologizing. I'm sorry I can't make it. I'm sorry I can't get to this event. I'm sorry I don't feel well. I'm sorry that I have a headache. I'm sorry I can't eat that. You literally spend your entire being existing to other people. And when you feel good again, it's like the gates open up and I don't have to apologize anymore. But what I also don't have to do, I also don't have to pretend like this didn't happen, because it makes a few people uncomfortable. So I love that Nicole's group opened up a window for me, and that my friend Mary was bold enough to stand up and tell me what happened to her. And I love that people who are watching this are feeling empowered enough to make this decision for themselves. You are not alone. This is not easy. Recovery is not easy. Seeing your body change again is not easy. I'm wearing a training bra that I probably can pass on to my daughter in 2 years. But you know what? Physically, who freaking cares? I don't care. I don't care that I look like a 12-year-old again. I don't care what my husband's opinion is, even though he's super thrilled because I feel better, and he never really liked my implants anyhow. I don't care. And I don't care because I feel good, because I know who I am. I feel like I have my identity back. I feel like I'm back in my own body again. And I guess you just don't know what that's like until it's taken away from you. And I will never ever again compromise myself for my vanity. And I mean, I will never ever tell anybody that, again, that breast implants was the best thing that I did. I mean, in theory, they may have been the best thing that I ever did, because they brought me back to who I am and who I really was without them. And it took me going through hell to realize that I am enough, and it's not, it's not really about what my physical appearance is. And I'll be thankful for this journey forever. So there's my 4-month, still feeling great. Absolutely no regrets. If you have any other questions, you can post them below, or you can private message me, and I'll help out as best as I can. Thanks, guys.